All right, welcome. Today is Thursday. Can't believe how fast time flies when you're having fun. All right, so today I wanted to talk about if I were to start over in real estate. Um, I started full time. Well, actually, just recap back. 2004 is when I started my real estate, not necessarily real estate, but my entrepreneur journey in 2004, and then I made a commitment in 2010 to go full time into real estate investing and wholesaling, and then marketing in 2016. Now, if I were to go back in time and start all over again, what would I do, and what would I do differently? Okay, in retrospect, and so I wanted to talk about that today. Whether you're in um, as a real estate agent or whether you're a real estate wholesaler investor, right? There is, I think, a little bit of difference, but I think the concept or the things that I'm going to be talking about is applicable in both scenarios. All right. Before I go into it, I just want to make sure that people can hear me, and I'm just gonna message my staff and let me know if you can hear me. So just wanted to make sure. All right. So number one thing that I would do, right? Back then, when I started in real estate, it wasn't around back then, but it is now. The number one thing I would do is that I would set up a Google business profile, right, online. Okay. Let me share with you my screen so that way um, so the Google Business Profile, I do have a blueprint. So just go to um, go that I'm going to put that description in there. But Google Business Profile, you can go to google.com/business. Okay. Now this is not something that you will spend a lot of time in. Okay. This is something that is, I think, if you have a local business, especially in real estate, whether you're an investor or whether you're an agent, you got to set this up. This is um, number one that I would do. Okay, in 2000 this year. Okay, and if you have one, great. But if you don't know, there are four essential things that you got to do. Download this blueprint, and that will list all the things that you need to do. Okay. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is I would accept the fact that if you're first starting out for the first time, nobody is going to contact you. Nobody's going to be saying, "Hey, I want to use your service." Okay. So what you got to do is you have to basically, compile a list. All right. And this is um, something that I think if I were to start all over again, right, I would do it in a way. Um, this is something immediate that you would do. Compile a list of all the people in your network, right? Whether if you were in a certain profession before, or whether if you're brand new in this business, compile a list of all the people that you know in your phone, like in your phone, make a list, all the emails, go through your contacts and go through all your emails and make a list of all the people in your contacts. And then also the other thing is all the people in your social media. Okay. Now, what you want to do, I have a framework that I think that will be helpful. Let me go and share my screen again. Okay. So um, the framework will depend upon whether you're contacting these people on a professional level or in your professional network or personal. Now, this is as if I'm starting fresh, right? So you got to power through this and make and go through this, whether that list is 50 people. But you'd be surprised. I think if you go through the list of all the people in your, whether your contacts, the number of contacts in your, I probably have over, in my phone alone, probably well over 300 plus. And then if you go to your email, your personal email as well as your business email, you probably have a lot more than you think you you probably, yeah, it's a lot. And then going through your social media, and make a list. I mean, literally make a list, and you have to go power through this. And this is, um, I got this from uh, Hermozi. Here's the link to the YouTube channel right there. And I will put that link in the description as well. And so basically, this is a video. Let me see. It's a 10-minute video that I think is going to help you understand this framework. Okay. So the goal here is to go. So when you're talking about the professional, your professional network, your goal here is to um, move these people to a call or a Zoom call, right? Either a phone call. And basically, you're saying, this is, depending on who you're talking to, whether it's your current client or whether it's your past client or somebody that is an old lead, right? Um, you are going to basically uh, say, hey, whoever, hope you're doing well. Have a few minutes to catch up. We'd love to check in and see how you're doing, and just something just generic, ultimately to get them to get on a call with you, right? Now, on a personal network where it's maybe on social media, then you want to go to basically go on this framework saying you want to acknowledge them, compliment them, and then ask, right? So, for example, I say, hey, I saw you recently switched jobs and moved. How do you like your new job town? And then you want to bridge the gap or bridge the conversation to, hey, by the way, do you know anyone who's possibly looking to? So, depending on what you're doing, if you're an agent, buy and sell real, home. If you're an investor or wholesaler, do you know anybody possibly looking to sell their home, right? And so, and then if they do refer you, or if they do refer you, then you send them a simple thank you gift, right? And it could be as simple as a card to a gift card to a local restaurant or whatever, right? So this is, and let's just say you built a list of 500 people. The goal here is you want to, I'm sure most people underestimate the number of people that they know, right? Even if you just go to LinkedIn and or your social, your Facebook friends. The goal here is to power through this as quickly as possible. But the goal here, the number one thing I want to mention is that you want to create a CRM, right? And I think that most people undervalue the value of keeping your contacts in a CRM. And um, and I would basically say at the end of that conversation is I would love to have your email address so I could keep you in touch, right? Now, how you keep in touch with your personal and your professional, those are two separate lists. And this is a platform that I basically developed. And so I'll just show you, this is the CRM, right? And whether you use this CRM or whether you use some other CRM, it doesn't matter. The point here is that I think most people undervalue when you're starting out to build that email list or build that list. And so what this does, I'm going to give you an example here of, this is my marketing agency talking with somebody to a professional network. And in this case, this is my real estate email address. And so this is what's available. So let's just say, for example, if I copied this email right here, right? So then I copy this and I put this, and this is just, I'm showing you tactically what I would do, right? Whether uh, you do this by phone, by text message them, or sending an email. This enables me to do it in such a simple way. So if I wanted to send a text message, I would say, hey, Paul, right? Hope you're doing well. I want a few minutes to catch up this week. We'd love to check in and see how you're doing and share some exciting news that I'm working on. Hoping that you're open to it, right? So this platform actually has a phone number associated with it, and so we're able to send a text message. And when I send this text message, it gets delivered to this phone number. This happens to be the business phone number, but I do receive text message through that business phone number. And so when I send the text, it goes out, and basically that's what it shows, right? And then as a result of that, I can actually send or add notes in here. So if I add a note here, I would say, hey, you know, any conversation I developed here, then I will make a note here, right? Send a text message today, right? Something like that. I'll just add a note here. And why this is important is because when you're building a CRM, you want to take note of any personal things, right? So that later on, a year from now, when you contact them and do this, this is something I would do, this method of reaching out to people at least once a year. I think this is under um, valued. I don't say undervalued. I would say something that I um, did not do when I first started out in business. And this is something that is very, I think, critical in just keeping up with people and building your network of people professionally and personally. Okay. And so you want to keep track of, personal things like how many kids they have, how many, uh, what's their current job and things like that. Even with your past clients or current clients, make notes on everything that you do in a place, a centralized location, right? I remember when I first started a long time ago, I used to have my phone, and I used to have a PDA. For those that remember those Palm Pilots, I had a Palm Pilot. I actually had a physical organizer, and I had to like figure out, okay, I have too many places in one place. So this centralized location where you want to have a centralized location where you have all of that information in one place. Okay, so now, let's just say hypothetically, like, if they want to make a phone call, then you can actually make the call and call them right here at this point and make the phone call directly here, right? If you wanted to set up an appointment with them, then you have the ability here. Let me pull this up here. This is a calendar. So if you wanted to schedule a calendar, and then you can send this calendar link directly from here. And then if he replies, "Hey, send me a calendar link," then you can just send a calendar link here, and basically they will be able to schedule a calendar link. Uh, why is that not showing up? It should show up for some reason. Let me see. I got it on my end, on my phone here, because any message that comes through, oh, here it is, right there, right? So then, if they click on that, um, they will be able to see my calendar right there, right? So that enables them to schedule the calendar, or you can actually make the call, right? If you're doing this via text message, you could just give them a call, and then you basically bridge the gap, right? By the way, so after you have a talk with that person, do you know anyone who could possibly be looking for? So what Alex and Moji talks about, and I think this is what we most make the mistake of doing um, when we're first starting out, is trying to make the sale with that person, right? And make it sound weird, especially if you're talking to friends and family. That's not what you're trying to do. Your main goal is not to sell to them, is to get referrals, to say, hey, do you know anybody that could potentially be looking to buy and sell, or um, you know whatever your service is. So if you're not in the real estate business, and this is applicable, you're not trying to sell to them. You're trying to find people that they know, right? And that's the number one thing, that, if you start doing that, then you're going to start chasing people away, and then they're going to want to be your friends. All right. So that is when the number one thing is to power through your list of people, whether you have 100, 1,000. I bet you that I could tell you right now, in my phone, in my contact. Let me just take a look at my contacts. And I've been in business for a long time, so I probably have well over. Let's see how many I have list. 2,462 contacts in my phone. And then I have probably well over 700 in my Facebook, uh, friends list. Um, the goal here in saying you're not looking at your friends as targets for to sell to them. You're looking to connect with them. You're looking to, um, if you haven't spoken to them in a while, connect with them, and then find out, if they know anybody that could potentially use your service, right? Now, especially if you're in the local, you're a real estate agent, right? And you're local, you can possibly say to them, right? If they live out of state, saying, hey, if you know anybody that's looking to relocate into your state, please hit me up and let me know. I would greatly appreciate that, right? Say it in such a way so that you're not directly selling to them. Okay. The next thing that I would do is that you will power through your list, right? Whatever that list is, if you have 1,000, right, then you do 50 a day or whatever set number of days per day, and you can get through it within a month, right? The other thing that I would do, right, is do what I call the difference between. Let me share my screen here. So, um, what I would say is um, active marketing and complement that with online uh, marketing. All right. Now, the number one thing that I see people doing wrong when it comes to online marketing, because that's my specialty, right? Is that mm, a lot of I'm going to say a lot of business owners as well, but real estate professionals in particular, especially, right? They try one marketing for a couple of months, they stop, or they don't necessarily stop, but for whatever reason, right? And they go on to another marketing, and that's it's that a lot of people do this, right? Including myself, right? We do one sort of marketing, and then we think it's going good, and then another you get a project or you get a client, and then you get busy and that stops, and then you go chase another marketing, and you do that throughout many years, right? So what I would say is that your online marketing should be done in complement both what you're doing in your active marketing with your with your online marketing, right? And this is something that most business owners, I think, have a difficult time with, right? So, what are some of the active marketing that you should be doing? Cold calling, right? Not saying do all of these. I've done all of these, right? Direct mail, right? If you're an agent, it would be probably farming, to sending mail to certain farm markets, right? I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but direct mail, I've tried it many, many times. Tried one, and then I tried to stopped. Tried again. Um, Going to local meetups, or even better, starting your own meetup, or going to BMI meetings, right? Leveraging other networks. So basically, partnering up with mortgage professionals or other real estate investors. If you're an agent and you want to cater to the real estate investor market, then that's a great niche as well, right? If you have a list, database reactivation. If you're audacious, then you're going in person to local businesses, right? I already wrote that as well, local business and meetup. So the problem that I see, the number one problem with whenever you're doing these active marketing is that you're not setting up systems. And if I had to go redo everything over again and I was starting, I would work on building systems, processes, and teams. So that, let's just say, for example, you're doing cold, let's say you decide you're doing cold marketing, and then you're complementing that with building your online marketing, right? What I would do is build a system where even if you were to get more, like you were to get business in, your cold marketing, cold calling, or whatever you're doing at that time, that should not stop. Okay. If that means you have to delegate that to somebody else to do that, that should not stop. Okay. Let me emphasize that again. That should not stop. So what does that mean? That means you have to build a process, you have to build a team, or delegate that to somebody so that that does not stop, because that needs to keep on running on its own. And then you can take care of your customer, clients, and take care of the transaction side of the business, the operational side of the business, right? Let's say you're doing direct mail. If you're doing direct mail and that should, you set up a budget to do that on every single month, right? Every single quarter, whatever it is that you set up for. I know a real estate agent, Kevin Majeski, he sends out magazines to his past clients, right? Or his favorite clients. I'm not sure, but he does that religiously every single. Not sure if it's every single month, every single quarter. So that should be it. And the same thing with meetups, right? Find a meetup that you resonate with, that you want to consistently go every single time on a consistent basis, right? Inconsistency is what is going to kill your business. Okay. And I emphasize this is so important. It's about being consistent. Oh, I also should put in here um, email marketing. I think that's a email marketing, because that's what you're building up on top here is when you're making those calls to all the contacts. Your goal is to not even email and slash SMS marketing, because you're not only getting their email, but you should be getting their phone number. You'd be surprised nowadays. Same thing with me. Uh, I have so many text message, and I really need to unsubscribe to some of these things nowadays, that I have to literally unsubscribe and I have to go back. I have all of these blue marks. Let me show you. Um, so basically nowadays that I have all of these blue marks, meaning that I have to go back and look at all of these text messages that I received that I have not checked for the past. I've only checked the ones that are important because it's from either my kids or my family, and the others I have not checked, and so I have to go back at them. And so, um, as I was saying, so I guess sorry, got sidetracked here. So let me just talk about these a little bit further. BNI is another great way to generate business, right? Um, Leveraging other network. So what I do for my real estate business back then is that because I was a wholesaler and I did short sales back in 2010, 11, 12. That's when the market was, and I basically specialized in doing foreclosures, market, and short sales. And so I went to real estate agencies and I got in front of real estate agents' office and did presentations on how to help their clients with the short sale process. And so that's how I leverage other network, right? Database reactivation is that if you have a list, it's basically going back to the list, very similar to email marketing here. And then just going into businesses, I think this takes a lot of guts, but I think if you're confident enough, that is definitely one way to go into businesses. Like if you're a real estate, let's just say if you're a real estate investor, going into real estate agencies, right, and telling them about what you do and how you help. If you're a real estate agent, um, this just thinking off my head, going into businesses that complement what the service that you need, and just going in there, introducing yourself to those businesses, and really uh, you're not trying to sell them, but you're trying to sell to help them to help their customers, if that makes sense, right? So that's ultimately the goal, is because when you're trying to sell to that specific business, it's very hard. But when you're trying to help them to help their customers, that's a whole different story, right? So um, I think that's about it in terms of like I said, this Google Goldmine blueprint. I created this with the intent, and then if you go through this, there's going to be in the second page a course that I created, just an FYI, okay? But in no way, um, let's see. I think that's about it for today. I mean, when I think about it, after being in business and doing business well over 20 years, I think at the end of the day, um, building a business and starting, it's it's fundamentally, I think it's the same for all businesses. Um, but really, to get your first business, you got to get the over the hump of not selling. You're not selling. You're actually trying. Your goal is to serve, and to help your clients, to help your customers, right? And that's the number one thing that I think most people, because at the end of the day, you need to generate income for your business, right? And then another last piece of advice is, of course, when you're first starting out, you got to reinvest that into your business. And so uh, that's a whole different topic, budgeting, finance, and all that. All right. Let me see if I have any questions here. Um, okay, so my Janice was busy putting those links in. So yes, the blueprint is available. Downloaded something that I revamped, and I recreated that to really help. Uh, whether it's your local business or specific for real estate professionals. I think the number one thing, especially nowadays, is Google Business Profile, and I know that because most of our clients, they generate leads off of that, and it's very important. Okay. All right. So on that note, I want to thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next. I think next week I'm going to be doing office hours. So if you do have any comments, I'm going to be going over some questions um, in my next office hours when it comes to marketing automations. Um, and please submit your questions and let me know in the Facebook group as well as on YouTube and LinkedIn. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye now.